The NFL's done with week 5. Week 5. And for some teams, the dream is still alive. And for others, it's basically about to die. So let's take a look back at the week that was. And it all started on Thursday night with an exciting thriller. The Falcons forced OT, and then Kirk Cousins threw a touchdown pass to Hodge to win it. They beat the Buccaneers 36-30. Hey, you get more Thursday night games like that, I am all in. And then for the Bucs, you've got Levante David and Mike Evans in the big primetime spotlight. Can always go with that. Switching over to the Sunday action, it all started in London, or wherever the hell it was. It was not in America. How about that? The Vikings defense forced 3 turnovers, including the Andrew Van Ginkel pick 6. I always want to say Van Winkle or Van Tinkle, but it's Van Ginkel, I think. The pick 6. The Jets come up just a little bit short, and the Vikings moved to 5-0, winning 23-17. And they said tally-ho to Robert Saleh for the New York Jets. Caleb Williams has his best touchdowns. The Bears blew out the Panthers 36-10. Oh, starting Andy Dalton's a good idea. How'd that work out for you? Exactly. Stupid asses. The fourth to force overtime, and then Justin Tucker hit a chip shot 24-yard field goal, which propelled easy for me to say, them to a 41-38 victory over the now 1-4 Cincinnati Bengals. Alec Ingold had a 3-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter to put the Dolphins up for good. That says all about what the hell you need to know about this game. The Patriots go down 15-10, and maybe it's finally going to be Drake May season? Because, again, it made so much sense to waste the first 5 games of the season starting Jacoby Brissett, because Drake May will be better sitting on the bench. Jaden Daniels continues to impress. He had over 300 total yards, leading the Commanders to an easy 34-13 win. With that, the Commanders sit at first place and 4-1 in the NFC East. And meanwhile, most importantly of all, the skin marks are back, baby! And the clock is starting to tick, I think, on Kevin Stefanski's term in Cleveland. Trevor Lawrence and Tank Bigsby had some big days. Imagine that, giving Tank Bigsby the ball some. Make some good things happen. Jaguars get their first win of the season over the Colts, and a fun one. Joe Flacco had a big day himself. He's an elite backup, I'll give him that. Jags win 37-34. Bills' questionable offensive play calling late gives the Texans a chance. They pounce, and they win on Fairbairn's long field goal to win it 23-20. Bo Nix had a solid day. More importantly for the Broncos, their defense played well again. They beat the Raiders pretty comfortably 34-18, and watch out, here comes Denver. The Cardinals racked up 14 straight second half points. Ryland kicks it, wins it for the Cardinals. They beat the 49ers. Woo, 24-23. What's the excuse for the 49ers? They had Ayuk and Samuel and Kittle and Purdy and they don't have Christian McCaffrey. That shouldn't matter, but apparently it does. Yikes. Jordan Love threw a couple of touchdown passes to Tucker Kraft. Josh Jacobs had a TD run. The Packers get by the Rams 24-19. Even with Jordan Love pulling a Will Levis. Never go full Will Levis. That's just not going to work out well for you. The Giants blocked Myers' 47-yard field goal late, return it for a TD, and how about that? That's why they play the game, folks. The Giants go on the road, upset the Seahawks 29-20. Dak Prescott threw for over 350 yards. The Cowboys win an ugly one on Monday morning, not even Sunday night, Monday morning 20-17. Woof. Let's not have too many more of those games, shall we? Patrick Mahomes threw for 331 yards. Kareem Hunt rushed for over 100 yards in the Chiefs uniform. The Chiefs beat the Saints comfortably on Monday night 26-13. In terms of stars of the week, for week 5, you've got Kirk Cousins, 42 of 58 for 509 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins, for Christ's sakes. What a monster day. And they needed every bit of that in order to win in overtime over the Buccaneers. And even though his team lost, and give props to Joe Flacco, almost 40 years old, coming in for an injured Anthony Richardson. Flacco gets the start, and all he does is go 33 of 44 for 359 yards and 3 touchdowns. He even had like a long 20-yard run in there. Dude's just getting a paycheck and doing something as a result. It's fantastic. A couple wide receivers really stood out in week 5. Drake London had 12 catches, 154 yards, and a touchdown. You would hope if Kirk Cousins threw for over 500 yards, one of his pass catchers had to have a big day, and Drake London certainly did. And then even though it was in a losing effort, Jamar Chase was dominant against the Ravens secondary. He had 10 catches, 193 yards, a couple of long-ass touchdowns. Like, Bengals need to figure out how they're going to end up paying him, and they need to go ahead and pay him. In terms of winners and losers for the week, you had the Houston Texans. That was a big win over the Buffalo Bills. Now they're sitting at 4-1. The Denver Broncos, now they've won a couple of games in a row, and their defense is playing really well. Bo Nix ain't lighting the world up, but he's not costing them over these past couple of weeks. And then you got the Dallas Cowboys. That's a tough environment to win in with the weather delays and everything else, and it was ugly, but you aren't always going to be in your top form. You got to find a way to win those games, and they ultimately did. Big win for them on Sunday night, Monday morning. In terms of losers of the week, New England Patriots, you're going up against the Dolphins, who are playing Tyler Huntley. You just continue to insist to start Jacoby Brissett. He's not good. Your offense stinks. Another lost opportunity. You didn't win, and Drake May didn't get any tick. That's really fucking stupid, period. The Cleveland Browns, the skid marks are back, baby! Do I need to say anything else? I really don't. And then the Seattle Seahawks, they started off 3-0, looking a little fraudulent right now. Losses in back-to-back weeks to the Lions and then the Giants in particular on Sunday. Not a good look for McDonald and his team. In terms of the 2-minute drill this week, lots of different directions I can go. But let's go to the skid marks, baby. No, you know what? I'm not going to go there. I'm going to take the other low-hanging fruit, and I'm going to talk about the Jets firing their head coach. Here's the deal. Whether you want to think it was Aaron Rodgers got in the ear of General Manager Joe Douglas and owner Woody Johnson and said, hey, I'm not getting along with the head coach. Robert's got to go. That might have been a factor. It could have been, he posted this online and it actually made some sense. Like Woody Johnson was embarrassed by his team's performance overseas. That could play a part. It's just one of those things that you're 5 games in, like, you have a 40-plus-year-old Aaron Rodgers. The offensive line's not great. Like, what did you really expect from this Jets team? Like, maybe this is a situation where the expectations far outpace what the reality really should have been. And I guess here's my question. If you don't think that it's working with the head coach, why is the general manager still employed that hired the head coach that ended up getting fired? Can anybody answer me that one? I realize sometimes there are different dynamics here, and sometimes general managers get the opportunity to hire 2 head coaches, whether that's right or not. But one of the most important decisions you can have, outside of your quarterback, is who the fuck's going to be your guy leading the locker room. And if the general manager gets it wrong, then why does the general manager get to keep his job? Because you have 2 spots that are most important. And when you look at it, they fucked up with Zach Wilson. I was wrong about him, but so were the fucking Jets. The difference was I didn't have the 2nd overall pick and take him and then have him bust out and he's gone 3 years later. Big difference there. So you got the quarterback wrong. Then you went and bid big on Aaron Rodgers, and that's kind of rolled up crap so far. I know last year was the Achilles injury, but still, it's a results-driven business at the end of the game, and the results aren't fucking there. And the head coach that he hired, he has now since fired because he failed. Why does Joe Douglas still have a fucking job with the New York Jets? Can anybody explain that to me? You want to fire the head coach? Fine. 2. The accountability needs to lie in the appropriate places, and too often with too many of these sports leagues, it doesn't lie in the right place. It's not like you can look at the Jets and say, that is an outstanding team and they're just being coached down a level or 2. They might be coached down a level or 2, but it's not an outstanding team. So that's where it progresses beyond just a, hey, you made the wrong choice with the head coach, but a lot of the other fundamentals, the infrastructure's great. Get the right guy there, you can blossom. That's not going to happen. Well, then who's that on? That's not on Robert Saleh. That's on the fucking general manager. So you're going to fire the head coach. The general manager should have been spent packing too, and that's my 2 cents.